The president's Friday comments on the George Zimmerman verdict bringing race to the center of the debate.
When Trayvon Martin was first shot, I said that this could have been my son. Another way of saying that is Trayvon Martin could have been me 35 years ago. There are very few African-American men in this country who haven't had the experience of being followed when they were shopping in a department store. That includes me.
All right, did the president miss the point here, or was he right on target? Joining us right now, radio talk show host Larry Elder. Larry, were you glad the president came out? Do you thought it was appropriate that he did so on Friday?
Well, and good morning, guys. He had no choice but to come out. He's the one who injected himself in the first place. Remember, he said if I had a son, he would have looked like Trayvon. Sure. And now that George Zimmerman has been found not guilty, I think the president had no choice but to say something. But of course he missed the point. The fact is that black America need not fear being stalked at night by some racist wannabe cop like a George Zimmerman. The fact is there were 7,000 homicides last year of black people, almost half of the total, and 96% of those homicides were killed by other black people. The fact is that when there's violent black-white crime, it is almost always a black perpetrator between 80 and 90% of the time and a white victim. So what happened on that night in February of last year was a very, very bizarre, aberrant kind of thing. And the president made it a referendum on race. I think it was completely inappropriate. Completely inappropriate.
Well, it doesn't really move, you know, it just kicks the can down the street a little bit. It really doesn't address the problems.
Well, it doesn't address the problem on so many different levels. First of all, every career prosecutor I know called this case a, quote, dog case, meaning it's a reasonable doubt case. Most people I know never would have brought it. And now that it was brought, the president didn't prepare the country for the likelihood that George Zimmerman was going to be found not guilty. Angela Corey did not prepare the country for that likelihood. That was their political mistake. Again, this was a dog case, a reasonable doubt case. It never should have been brought. And I don't believe that George Zimmerman is even going to be brought up on civil charges. I don't think they're going to file it because of all the stuff about Trayvon Martin's background that was excluded by this judge.
Well, let me ask something, Larry. In your opinion, because the president kind of weighed in, if roles were reversed and Trayvon Martin was in the position of George Zimmerman, Zimmerman in the position of Trayvon Martin, do you think the case would have come out the same way?
I don't think we'd be having this conversation. There was a killing a few years ago in Knoxville, Tennessee, one of the most brutal, vicious killings I've ever seen. 4 black men raped, tortured, and killed 2 young white students, and it got very little coverage. When it's the other way around, we want to march on Washington. One more time, 7,000 homicides. The total, that's 50% of all the homicides last year. 12% of the country is black, 6% is male. You throw out old people and young people, you're talking about 3% of the population committing almost 50% of the homicides. This is why people profile, and not just white people profile, black people profile. It's just common sense to make sure you avoid certain people when the odds are that maybe this group might be more dangerous than another group. Sure. Jesse Jackson once said, I've gotten to the point in my life where when I turn around and I hear footsteps at night and I see white people, I'm relieved. I didn't say it, Jesse did.
Yeah. Larry, 30 seconds. And I know that this is a big order, but what do we do? Where does it go from here? I mean, how do we wrap this up?
The problem with the country, the #1 social problem, are kids raised without fathers. In the black community, 75% of kids are born outside of wedlock. 85% of black kids at some point will be in a household without a dad. You name your social problem, whether it's dropouts, whether it's crime, whether it's out-of-wedlock births, and it's the direct connection between that and fatherless homes. And Obama even gave a speech about at Morehouse a few weeks ago where he talked about it. He said, if you grow up in a home without a dad, you're 5 times more likely to be poor, 9 times more likely to drop out of school, 20 times more likely to go to prison. What are we talking about here?
Gotcha. Larry, now we know why you're such a great talk show host. Thanks for hitting all those great points real early and concisely.
Appreciate
Larry Elder, thanks. Meanwhile, straight ahead.
Now?
Yes, you can. And as America's welfare waste